gives us access to a world of colors and brightness. According to a Latin lyric poet, Horace, what we learn only through the years makes less impression upon our minds than what is presented to the trustworthy eye. That is probably why the eye is also called the jewel of the body. In this lesson, you will learn about the structure and working of a human eye, defects of vision, and the remedies for these defects. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to explain the structure and working of a human eye, identify the significance of the power of accommodation, identify the causes and symptoms of a cataract. You can identify a flower by smelling and touching it, but you can't identify a color without the sense of vision. Hear that honking sound? It's probably a car coming around the corner, right? Can you guess what kind of a car it is? Not really. Not without looking at it. The human eye is the organ of sight for human beings. Your eye transforms light waves reflected from objects that you see into images. The information about these images is then sent to your brain. Based on this information, your brain creates a picture of what you look at. This is how your eye enables you to see. Your eyes can also sense geographic directions, movement and color of objects, and light sources. In a technical sense, your eye can be considered an optical device, that is, an instrument of vision that detects light. Let's look at how this optical device works. First, we'll examine the structure of the eye. A human eye is spherical in shape, with a diameter of approximately 1 inch. It constitutes about 30 major and minor parts. Let's start with the sclera, or sclerotic. Sclera is a tough white fibrous tissue that protects and contains the internal parts of the eye. The next part is the cornea, a tough membrane covering the front surface of the eye that is bulged out. The cornea refracts the light that enters the eye. Behind the cornea lies a jelly-like substance called the aqueous humor. It enables the eye to cope with the changes in the atmospheric pressure. The iris forms the colored part of the eye. The iris adjusts the size of a tiny hole called the pupil to control the amount of light entering the eye. The next part of the eye is the crystalline lens. The crystalline lens is a transparent, biconvex structure in the eye, which, along with the cornea, helps to refract light so that it can be focused on the retina. The ciliary muscle is a ring-like structure attached to the iris. It helps focus images by contracting or relaxing as required to change the shape and focal length of crystalline lens. Thus, it ensures proper vision by changing the focal length of the eye lens based on the distances of objects in the line of vision. The space between the lens and the retina in the eye is filled with a clear, dense, jelly-like fluid called vitreous humor. The vitreous humor helps focus the image clearly on the retina and maintains the shape of the eye. The vitreous humor helps focus the image clearly on the retina and maintains the shape of the eye. The vitreous humor helps focus the image clearly on the retina and maintains the shape of the eye. The vitreous humor helps focus the image clearly on the retina and maintains the shape of the eye. The vitreous humor helps focus the image clearly on the retina and maintains the shape of the eye. The vitreous humor helps focus the image clearly on the retina and maintains the shape of the eye. The vitreous humor helps focus the image clearly on the retina and maintains the shape of the eye. The vitreous humor helps focus the image clearly on the retina and maintains the shape of the eye. The vitreous humor helps focus the image clearly on the retina and maintains the shape of the eye. The vitreous humor helps focus the image clearly on the retina and maintains the shape of the eye. The vitreous humor helps focus the image clearly on the retina and maintains the shape of the eye. The vitreous humor helps focus the image clearly on the retina and maintains the shape of the eye The innermost part of the eye is called the retina. The retina may be considered as the screen where an image is formed when light passes into the eye. The retina is spread all through the interior of the eye behind the lens, forming a canopy of the nerve endings of the optical nerves. The retina contains two main types of light-sensitive cells, called rods and cones. Through optical nerves, the retina connects the eye to the brain. When retina receives an optical image, it converts the image into optical impulses and relays these impulses to the brain through the optical nerve. The brain then interprets these signals to an image of the object viewed through the eye. That's how the eyes help us to see. Here is a quick summary of the various parts of the eye and their functions. Now let's see how these parts come together to help us see when we are looking at something. When light rays reflect from an object towards an eye, the cornea refracts these rays so that they are incident on the lens. The cornea is responsible for maximum refraction of the light incident on the eye. With the help of involuntary movement of the ciliary muscles, the iris and the pupil control the light entering the eye and incident on the lens. The crystalline lens, being biconvex in nature, refracts the light rays it receives. It helps in final focusing of the light on the retina to form a real image. The retina converts the light energy of the image into electrical impulses, using light-sensitive nerve cells called rods and cones. The rod cells are responsible for the perception of the brightness of light, and the cone cells for the perception of color. The electric impulses from the retina are relayed to the brain by the optic nerve. These impulses indicate the brightness and color of the image to the brain. The brain interprets these impulses and produces the sense of vision. Sounds like a long process, doesn't it? The amazing thing is that the eye completes this process in a fraction of a second, enabling us to see. The way your eye enables you to see is very similar to the functioning of another common optical device, the camera. To form images, all SLR cameras use the same principles of refraction of light rays by lenses and interpretation of colors and brightness. Similar to the iris in the eye, a camera has an iris diaphragm to control the light entering the camera. The screen that contains a photographic film in a camera is similar to the retina in the eye.